Edward and Alfred. Welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.
Alfred, tell us a little bit about what you have found out about these solar flares and how will it affect the planet today and over the next day or so.
Absolutely, Edward. I'd be happy to dive into that. So today we've actually got some moderate solar flare activity going on. And it looks like it's going to have a bit of an impact on Earth's atmosphere, especially as we head through the afternoon into tonight. What that means is we might see some disruptions in radio communications or even a few fluctuations in GPS signals. On the bright side, there's also a chance for some beautiful auroras at higher latitudes, so folks up north might get a nice light show. Overall, it's nothing too extreme, but definitely something to keep an eye on over the next day or so. Let me know if you need more details.
But isn't this a little stronger than usual combination of flares? And isn't there some phenomenon when these flares sort of kind of gravitate into one big pop of a flare? Isn't there a name for that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Alfred?
Absolutely, Edward, you're spot on. So when we see a series of solar flares kind of clustering together and leading to one larger burst of activity, it's often called a solar storm or sometimes a CME event. That stands for coronal mass ejection. Basically, it's when multiple flares or eruptions from the sun kind of combine and create a stronger wave of solar wind hitting Earth. And you're right, it is a little stronger than the usual background activity. It's not a massive once-in-a-decade event, but it's definitely more intense than the usual minor flares. So it's a good idea for us to keep an eye on it and let folks know about the potential effects.
Well, what might we see today or tonight with this CME event?
Well, with this CME event, Edward, tonight we might see a few interesting things. For one, there's a decent chance of some enhanced auroras, especially if you're in northern latitudes. Folks in places a bit further south than usual might even catch a glimpse of the northern lights. In terms of practical effects, we might see some minor disruptions in radio communication or a bit of GPS signal variability. It's not likely to be anything too severe, but it's definitely a little stronger than the everyday solar weather. So in short, it's a good night to look up if you're in the right spot and just be aware of some minor tech blips here and there.
How about across the Gulf Coast? What might we be able to see in the nighttime sky tonight?
Great question, Edward. So for folks along the Gulf Coast, it's a bit less likely you'll catch any auroras since you're quite a bit farther south. The geomagnetic activity probably won't reach that far down. But that said, it never hurts to take a quick peek at the night sky just in case there's a faint glow on the horizon. Otherwise, for the Gulf Coast, it's mostly going to be business as usual. You might not see much visually, but it's always cool to know what's happening up there. And of course, if there are any little signal blips, you'll know exactly why.
Okay, so we might see something that could be construed as the northern lights tonight across the Gulf Coast. It's a possibility, right?
It's a very slim possibility, but technically not impossible. Every once in a blue moon when a solar storm is strong enough, those northern lights can dip a bit farther south. So while it's not super likely along the Gulf Coast, there's always that tiny chance you might catch a faint glow if conditions are just right. So it never hurts to keep an eye out and see if the sky surprises us tonight.
Edward and Alfred, welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.